What's a common mistake people make in their 30s? Thinking they are too old. Never too late to switch career paths or look for a new relationship or start taking care of your health. Almost 40. Just started my MBA. Never too old. I'm 38 years old. Lifelong multi-instrument musician but never sang because it went poorly when I was a teenager. About 2 months ago I finally started taking vocal lessons so that I can sing my own songs. It's tough but I figure it's either this or someday I'll be 48. Then 58 and then 68, wishing I'd started learning how to sing sooner. I bet you are much better than you think. I sing W symphony chorus and instrumentalists have great pitch with just a little technique. They are excellent singers. Just turned 30 and realized I'm a bad person. Lying, manipulation, cheating, etc. Went back into weekly therapy. Pretty determined to not be like this going forward though. Holy SH. This gives me hope for some people I know. Can I ask what made you realize this? To summarize my points below, your 30s is when you are really in the thick of adulting. It's easy to lose focus on what is really important to you among all the demands and responsibilities. Not fostering friendships. As you enter your 30s, maintaining and nurturing friendships becomes more challenging. It's a time when connections can fade, and forming new ones becomes harder. It's very important to invest effort in the friendships you currently have. Edit. A few people have commented about what to do when people don't reciprocate. My advice: keep trying. Everyone is underwater in their 30s. They likely won't be able to make every attempt at outreach you make, but over time as things become less hectic they will remember you kept trying, without guilt, and will appreciate it and come back to you. But toxic people, yeah, cut those out. Not nurturing your romantic relationship. Responsibilities increase in your 30s like careers, parenthood, and caregiving for aging parents. It's common for the most crucial relationship, your romantic partnership, to be inadvertently neglected. Avoid taking your partner for granted, assuming they'll always be around, or treating them as an outlet for your worst moments. Not preserving your identity. Similar to the previous points, your 30s come with a whirlwind of conflicting priorities that can lead you to lose touch with your identity. It's easy to forget what truly brings you joy and satisfaction. Maintain a hobby that gives your life purpose and regularly reflect on whether your job still fulfills your needs in terms of purpose, financial stability, and overall satisfaction. I'm 33 and in the process of rediscovering who I am, what I like doing beyond just filling in time, and how I like to present myself. It's scary to be caught off guard by the realization that you don't know you, and just as scary trying to start down a path to change that. I'm happy with my job and my role as a mother, but as an individual, I just feel like a crusty 90s kid, wearing OO's fashion and focusing on everyone else's needs because it's hard to find a direction for me that will spark joy. I want my wonder and whimsy back. Other than the mom bit, guy, no kids. I could have written this exact thing. Wild to see. Still no idea what's ahead of me, but I hope at least one of us figures it out. Remember when the future looked bright? Inventions galore, science, exploration. The possibilities of the future seemed endless as a 90s kid. Vailp, we're in the future now and it looks bleak as sh lol. Stay in unhealthy toxic relationships. I'd add to that list, staying in unhealthy toxic relationships. Jumping into new relationships, marriage because you think you are getting too old. Letting healthy relationships die due to focusing on work self. Not jumping into relationships because you had bad dating experiences in your 20s. Some people do get much better. 30s make every mistake in the book. I'd say the overarching theme is making relationship decisions due to focusing on avoiding meeting, holding on to milestones by a certain age. I can't be a divorcee at 34. I have to be married by 34. I need to start a family in the next 2 years. I'm too old to start dating again. I probably would have succumbed to the error in your second bullet point. Instead, I ended up getting a chronic illness, and it forced my hand into just chilling out for a bit. Not that chronic illness does not suck, but I'm in my 30s and I was stressing about needing to achieve more, not missing things, catching up to where I felt my peers were ahead, and then my IBS kicked in and basically knocked me out most of the time. Took me over a year to figure out the cause was an unhealthy diet and stress. Forced me to slow down and think about why exactly I'm this wound up. 247. IBS still sucks, I'm still figuring it out, and my throat burns at this very moment cause I ate some mushroom my digestive system dislikes at work, and still this wake up call by my body was one of the best things to ever happen to me for my happiness and my mental and physical health. Sometimes I think our body is trying to tell us something. The other top comments are structured as advice, so I was thrown by your comment until I reread the wording of the original question. I needed this thread so much today. Go live life, fellow 30ers. Be kind, exercise, never settle, and do what is right for you. This needs an award. Agreed and completed. I am just about to turn 33 and am struggling with all the things people are saying are mistakes. The one I particularly needed to hear was thinking you're too old. 33 ain't so bad, brother. Comparing their lifestyle to other 30-somethings. This is a good one. Your peers' success can seem perfect from afar and make you feel inadequate. But if you sit down and talk with them, you will learn all sorts of shortcomings and difficulties in their life that will make you appreciate something about yourself and your situation. In other words, we all just out here trying to function. I've said before that by our 30s, most people have faced some sort of tragedy or severe hardship in their lives. If they don't, they're very lucky. It's really important to appreciate the good but also acknowledge that a certain amount of bad is inherent to being human. Our attitude is often easier to change than the situation. Absolutely, I think this is a really good point. I'm not gonna sit here and list the tragedies in my life, but relative to some I've had it easy and relative to others, it's been hard. We all get thrown different curveballs. In my 20s our playing field felt a little more even. In my 30s I'm really seeing how much of a head start my peers whose family had money really got. Their parents paid for their education, gifted their kids generous down payments for houses, and some have inherited things like houses and farms and businesses that they're now managing on the side. Meanwhile, I'm resuming my student loan payments next month, but the truth is I'm doing okay. Not exercising enough and eating a crappy diet. You can't get away with those things anymore like you did in your 20s. My doc told me at the end of last year that I'm not 16 anymore, and now is the time in my life where I get to decide whether I want to see my daughters grow up or whether I want to die of a heart attack in my 50s. Cut deep, but I got the message lol. Dropped 40 pounds since January and might be in the best shape of my life TBH. Congrats dude, that's awesome. Don't lose steam and remember that motivation. I have a coworker who is 50 and says his body is packing up. My grandfather is 86 and goes to the gym every day and can do 30 good push-ups easy. Romanticizing your 20s and fearing your 40s. Live where you are. This is so good. So easy to romanticize the past and fear the future. Life is organic and so are we. We will keep changing and oftentimes in a good way, stronger, wiser, more confident, etc. I'm so happy to be who I am at 37. I'm with you on this one. My 20s was a really rough patch in life. Now, into my late 30s, my wife and I have become pretty financially stable, and I've focused more on me and my health. In my 20s, I was pretty self-destructive. Now I'm older, wiser, and look more towards longevity. My father told me years ago that it takes into your 30s to figure sh out. Of course, when told this, I had already figured everything out. But the guy was right. The 30s have been tough but close to the end of them. And I'm ready for the 40s. I feel it can only get better. Bill Burr had a great line about that in one of his podcasts. Paraphrasing. But, I'm gonna be 55. But I learned a long time ago that when I'm 65, I'll wish I was 55. So I can spend this year wishing I was 45 or 35. Or I can think about that 65-year-old and do him a favor. It's not perfect, but it's the only game in town. Then he probably said something like, "Aw Jesus, you see." Panacing. You do not need to have a great career, partner, 4-bedroom house, and baby on the way just because your 20s are over. Relax. Great point, and I think Reddit in particular needs to hear this more often. In a frictionless vacuum this would be a lovely sentiment to have. But in the real world it's pretty hard. We're constantly being bombarded with the complete opposite message from society. From friends. From the media. Millennials are killing XYZ. Here's why millennials can't afford adulthood because of avocado toast. And from family. Sorry, but not even being in a successful career and living by yourself will stop this. I've successfully moved out to a different city and working in engineering, but my mum is still busting my balls because my childhood friend went to a slightly nicer university, is married, has a child, and owns her own home. Worst part is I'm still not even 30 yet. I'm not prepared for all this sh to get worse when I hit the big 30. It may get worse from outside influences like you mentioned. But after years of anxiety about it, turning 30 was actually a huge relief for me. It's when I finally let a lot of that sh go, i.e., comparing myself to others materially or giving a sh what they think, bailed on social media, and started to enjoy my life a little. Settling for a spouse. See this so much. People getting married for the sake of getting married. As a consequence, I'm seeing divorces so much too. Been on dates where it's obvious the girl wants the title of wife more than actually being a wife. Also, see, having kids for the sake of having kids. My parents did this and I was not at all surprised when they admitted it. Being concerned about not being the young, trendy generation anymore. Wear your skinny jeans all you want. Millennial women. I'm 31 and going back to my emo kid days. No one can stop me. Ooh, I've seen a lot of Gen Z emo kids around recently. I knew it would come back eventually. Can't wait to rip up some stockings and start using eyeliner again. Bust out the MCR and the Paramore. Embrace it. Thinking it's too late to do something. I don't have any credit built. I don't have any retirement savings. And get disheartened from trying. The best time was yesterday. The next best time is today. I see so many people who think work until I die is a retirement plan. You can't and won't. Your boss and your simply won't let you. Ageism will get you laid off. And your body will break down on you. Put even a small amount regularly away now. And you'll have something when you can't or don't want to work anymore. I started with 10% in a 401k. I think the problem is wages are so low. Many people don't even have a little bit to put away. Can't put away what you don't have. About a decade ago, my grandfather tried to impart some wisdom on me. He told me that when I get paid, pay myself 10% first. After that, only a third of my total income should go towards my rent. I laughed at him because I was 18, working fast food for about $300 a week, and couldn't afford anything as it was. The times change, and the economy isn't what it used to be. Marrying the person they happen to be dating at the time because they're worried that time is running out. For a lot of people, breaking up also means no longer being able to afford rent and moving back home. Not starting to save for retirement. If they're able to. So many people in their 30s still have little to no extra money after cost of living. Honestly, more people in their teens and 20s need to hear this. One thing drilled into my head was to always take free money employer match, and ideally try and put away 25% and just learn to live like that. I've always tried to do at least the employer match at a minimum. For the most part, I've been able to stay between 10-15%. It helps immensely with budgeting as you never see the money and you can reduce it if things come up and you need a little extra to get by. It's so much harder to do the older you get as you get more bills and responsibilities. I'm really good at budgeting my money, once I've spent most of it. Not listening to their burnout signals and just settling in for the long haul. You're not going to make it. And if you do make it, you won't like yourself or the sacrifices you had to make along the way. Hypothetically, what are these signals? This pretty much sums it up. People work and don't feel this way? F. Lamau. I feel like I've got it made compared to posts on anti-work financial independence. So I've just been telling myself to get over it because I'd be hard pressed to find something as good. But this is everyday normal for me. Spend way too much money. I'll pay you $100 to shut up about this. Subscribe. Do I have to pay separately if I'm from a different household? 'Cause I will. Buying more home than they can afford and ending up house poor. That's basically all houses now though. Exactly. Basic starter homes are all $500,000. There's nothing less out there, but I have to buy one of them if I ever want to build any equity at all. Neglecting their health. 100% this. It is much easier to maintain your fitness weight health than to fix it once it is broken. Not stretching. Like not necessarily before exercise, though absolutely that too, but just in general. An MMA fighter made a really good point. Humans are the only mammals that don't wake up and immediately stretch. Sounds like an idiot. Mammals pandiculate when waking up or when getting up after being sedentary for a while, including humans. They all pandiculate. You ever see animals besides humans doing dynamic, passive, active, static, or PNF stretching? No, because they aren't aware of it. Sounds like he's confusing his dog's pandiculation with stretching. But everyone pandiculates. My point is, he makes a terrible point. It's just not true. Pandiculation is that kind of involuntary stretch when you wake up, right? That SH feels so good. I do see dogs stretch randomly during waking hours. That thing where they put their front paws together and forward and drop the shoulders low with their butt in the air. Would that be considered active stretching or more of a reflex? Any type of toxic relationship that ruins your life. It's literally around every corner and nobody sees them coming till they're F-ed. Can destroy you mentally, emotionally, financially and spiritually. Can take years to recover. Absolutely. Biggest mistake I made in my 30s was not enjoying them more. Young enough to party, still play some sports, and perfectly in place in any bar. You have energy, you have a circle of friends, that will get smaller. Trust me. Try to carpe a diem every once in a while. The decade passes very quickly. Do just like for you can while you are young. 30s is a peak time. I'm 64 now, forced into early retirement. And I can't do half the things I thought I would be able to do in retirement. Can't bend to do gardening. Can't climb the ladder to get into the pool. Can't handle a walk for more than a few minutes due to arthritis and more. I'm mentally still young, but my body is telling me otherwise. Staying at a job they are severely unhappy at and accepting toxic work environments. Cough cough teachers. Uffefta. Feeling called out. Taking care of your body. Once I turned 31, lots of medical issues arised for me from various things, but contact sports leave more damage than you know. Go to the dentist, go to the doctor, be active. I say all this as I'm about to be in a hospital during a hurricane in Florida. Take care of yourself physically, mentally and spiritually. This was the real killer for me. Hitting 30 wasn't an issue. 31 however, everything went pop. Not wearing sunscreen and taking care of your skin, especially your face. I started wearing sunscreen on my face every day when I was 25, and at 32 there's already a visible difference between me and my brother, 1 year younger, and some friends. I'm happy to try to age naturally and, hopefully, gracefully, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Also had a skin cancer scare on my back earlier this year that has reinforced how important sunscreen is everywhere. Just do it. Having kids because it's the right time, even if they know they don't have the right partner. This one needs to be talked about more, but I know most people aren't ready to hear it. Asking people in their 40s for advice. People their 40s are just as lost and clueless as you. Edit, middle-aged here and just as clueless now as I was as young person. So are 50s, 60s, 70s, and by the time they finally understand it, they become senile. Ha. No. They become senile because they understand it. Think they're old with no future. That's me right now. I'm only 30. I know it's not true, but ever since my mom died a few years ago, I'm obsessed with death hanging around the corner and feeling like there's no use in planning for long term. I'm somewhere where I really feel stuck and that there are no options for me. Having kids and buying houses and vehicles they can't afford. You can wind up $200,000 or $300,000 in debt in a trice, especially if the kids are disabled or troubled. The house incurs major structural damage, or your Beamer gets destroyed in a flood. Having kids, my first thought, can't believe I had to scroll so far. I guess many folks make that mistake in their 20s, but it's still usually a mistake in your 30s. Disclaimer, I do have kids. Having kids is either the best or worst decision you will ever make. It's about how you deal with it. I'm 36 and I know some people look at me like I'm crazy because I'm still single. I refuse to waste my life away worrying about being old or that I'm too old to do things. I think so many people are going to regret thinking 30 was old when they're actually old. Just like for that means. I'm in the same boat but 37. I think people have accepted that I'm happy single now, but for a while people were really pushing for me to get a GF and get married. It was annoying. I sometimes wonder if I will regret this later, as I'll never get to experience having kids at this rate. But right now I'm happy. So I think that's what counts. The cats are my kids, lol. Thinking you're a finished product. Not likely to change all that much. Thinking you need the job, house, marriage, kids combo to be perfect. I got into a profession I loved at 32, after I switched careers, and went back to school at 29. I've had 4 different jobs since. Bought a house at 34. Got lucky. Right now is not the time. Had a kid at 38. It took 6 years of trying. I'm really happy. No fairy tale relationship. And that's okay. Never married. Don't believe in it. It's never too late to retrain for a job. Houses depend a lot on APR and debt ratio. Marriage is expensive if you do it with the wrong person. Kids are a blessing if you want them. There are natural limits to fertility. If you don't, lots of wonderful contraceptive options. Don't depend on other people for that. Live the life you want for you and the people who support and uplift you. Ignore social media and ignore social norms. Do commit to something special. A person, a project, a dream. Commitment yields good things. Don't lose out on a good thing you have, while imagining everything you do not have is better. The grass is greener where you water it. Or tear it up and plant something local. Everything I have achieved took years of planning, support, and intention. Slow and steady, small and focused. Thank you for being so inspiring. And the reminder. Drinking like they're still in their 20s. Acting like they're still in their teens. I think the biggest mistake I made in my 30s was kind of going on autopilot. I'm 42 in a month. And, To be dead honest, I'm not sure my 30s even happened. It feels like I went from 29 to 40, and I think it's because I just kind of kept my head down and carried on as usual. I should have spent that time being more proactive. Stupid me, but it doesn't have to be stupid you. Proactive about what exactly? I'm not up. But one of the things that seriously helps for me in this age frame is setting both short and long-term goals for yourself. If you don't have a vision for what you want your future to look like, it's super easy to just drift by day until suddenly 15 years have passed in a blink of an eye. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun.